2020, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi faces a challenger of her own.
Shahid Buttar announced his plans to unseat the California Congresswoman. He plans to challenge Pelosi.
A constitutional attorney who works at the Electronic Frontier Foundation, a grassroots activist, an artist, and candidate challenging Nancy Pelosi in the Democratic primary, Shahid Buttar.
Not only does he support Medicare for all, but he also wants to cut military spending.
With the congressional candidate trying to end the way too long rule of corporate queen Nancy Pelosi.
I'm not a big fan of Medicare for all.
And she's not representing us. She's not. She's representing her interests.
She needs to retire. She does.
If Hillary Clinton had won, I was ready to go home.
She's out of touch with what's really happening.
Shahid is authentic, and he cares about people.
He will stand up against police brutality.
And his fusion of a socialist commitment to justice for everybody is exactly the synthesis that we need right now.
He's tireless, brilliant, fearless, and watch out. He's going to surprise a lot of people in this race.
He understands average, everyday people.
The most effective way to reach somebody is face to face.
We need change in 2020. So just so everybody understands, we're not just taking on the Republican Party in Washington, D.C. and the establishment Republicans. We're also taking on the establishment Democrats. And I'm not playing about this. I'm not playing about this. We're going to fight. We're going to fight.
He cares about taking care of everybody, making everybody equal.
An end of the surveillance state, an end of military spending.
We need a representative that really represents San Francisco's values.
Good evening, everybody, from La Honda, California, and Sacramento. This is John Ellis and Laura Livengood, and we have Pat Cote with us. Hey, Pat, thank you for joining us today.
Hi, everybody.
Happy to be here.
And this is Super Tuesday. So this is when Bernie Sanders shows that he really racks up all the delegates, even though they've really been trying so hard to push Biden. If anybody could let us know in chat how the audio is. This is a new setup, and we've got Pat Cote here on the phone, and we're using one microphone, and I'm hoping it looks like it all sounds and looks good here, but you guys are the ones that can tell us. So we're going to monitor chat. Let us know if you hear us say anything horrible, other than talk of Biden, which we'll try to minimize. So, Pat, you were watching CNN, and you said you got some news that you wanted to talk about. Tell us where things are at or what's going on.
Well, I just wanted to go over real quick what we've got so far, which is basically that Biden won Virginia, North Carolina, Alabama, and is probably going to win Tennessee. Wow. So they're currently on TV saying that Bernie has shown he can't win any black votes.
Oh, wow.
We're obviously talking about the South, which is a very conservative black vote, which doesn't really relate to California black vote. Right. Or Texas's black vote even, and they're dismissing obviously all the Latino support he has. But that's Terry McAuliffe, from Virginia, who's on TV expressly for the purpose to push for Joe Biden.
Right, and that seems to be where the establishment is coalescing, right, around the Biden.
Yeah, they worked really, really hard this weekend. Gotta say, people, they put in some hours, just all the rearranging and the pulling out Pete and Amy and all of the huge big event in Dallas for the anointing of Biden as the establishment choice. Obviously pulling ranks around him. I'd love to be a fly on several walls to find out how some of these things went down. But yeah, so I'm making a tally chart that we'll share in a minute with the results as we get them.
There you go. Just to answer some comments.
Okay, so I was just going to say one thing I saw that.
Go ahead.
One thing I saw that was interesting, and I haven't seen it other than the one time it flashed on the screen, was that Tulsi Gabbard had a delegate.
Oh,
awesome!
And if that holds true, and they do not change the current debate rules, that would put her on the next debate stage.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love to see that now that the Buttigieg and Klobuchar and Steyer are all out of there. Yeah. Such yellers they were.
So it's an interesting prospect that she could come back in this, even though she has no chance to win. But then, obviously, her voice is going to be stinging against Biden and Bloomberg.
Right. That was a cool stinging sound effect that
That
came in through the audio.
That was a really good one.
Oh, I didn't hear it. It must be.
Probably from you, my dude.
Let us know if you guys heard it in chat. We've got all sorts of cool little Easter eggs like that. Win $1,000. I'm joking. No. So
like the radio show here, zing.
Yeah, exactly.
1,000 unicorns.
1,000
unicorns. We will give many unicorns away.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Melissa also wanted to point out. Pat was talking about the conservativeness of the black vote, but also a very older black vote because we're dealing with people they older than. I mean, I'm 50, and I don't know anybody my age or younger that's looking at Biden. Right.
Right.
No.
I mean,
no.
Come on. So this is a real old landline group of folks, right?
Right.
It's very conservative and also religious. And like you said, the demographics break 50 and over go towards Biden, under 50 go towards Bernie. Mm-hmm. And Bernie now has a slight majority, slight plurality, a little bit more of the black vote if you add up all the young black vote than the older black vote, in theory.
Well, let's all mention, too, that I know with South Carolina, Biden came in quite high, and it was kind of reminiscent of how high Hillary came in when she won South Carolina back in 2016. And evidently there was at least, in some cases, a 10% discrepancy in the exit polls, which would, in a normal world, have red flying alarms going off. But, of course, nothing. And that coincided with calling it the second the polls closed. And what I'm hearing is that's what's happened, at least in North Carolina and Virginia, exactly the same thing. So
interesting.
So I'm not past a little bit of election fraud going on here, just to throw that in.
Well, we knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, that's no surprise.
Right.
No one was doubting that. I think I'm surprised that it hasn't been called out more. I haven't seen a lot of the struggle of it yet.
I've been hearing it called a lot out on Twitter. You're not going to hear it on the TV though.
Right, of course.
Because it benefits them.
Right. Some comments. Just hey everybody, and so they could hear the weird sound. So everybody but you, Pat, you miss out. Sorry.
Right.
What? And apparently that was Eric Swalwell farting.
Oh, okay.
I like that. That was a nice.
Good, so you can monitor chat here.
Yeah, I'm
That's
looking
cool.
over here now. This is great.
This works.
New setup so that we've only got and you can hear us a little better.
Yeah.
I think it's working.
And we look at the same
Got
cameras.
Pat over. Yeah, this is.
They have the same lighting. That's amazing. That's
Yeah, it's different. So, what other than California and Texas? You said something earlier before we went live, Pat. You said that he really only needs. Was that you? Said really only needs California and Texas. Is that true?
Well, would you say so, Pat?
I mean, look, that's if he. The key is to hit the 15% threshold everywhere. If Bernie does that, and at least gets a decent amount of delegates in these other states, but then gets the majority of California, and California. He could get the lion's share of California, which is 400 plus delegates.
Yeah, 415 for California, 228 for Texas.
Right. So to put that in perspective, I believe North Carolina is the third biggest of the states voting today.
Yeah, that's 110. Yep.
Right, which is at 110, which did go to Biden, which is significant. But when you put that up against 400, that could go. Easily half could easily go to Bernie.
Yeah,
that's
and if Bernie gets Massachusetts, that's 91, so that offsets that right there. So I've got it. I've got them here. I'm still working on that. You talk.
Right, and I did want to mention that the other thing I picked up on CNN earlier is they're really pushing this idea already that no matter what happens with Warren, she really shouldn't drop out.
Is she doing anything anywhere? Have you seen any numbers for her coming through? Or is it just been Bernie and...
I haven't, but I did hear that she went after Biden earlier today for probably the first time in her entire primary.
Went after Biden?
She criticized him a little bit today for the first time.
Interesting.
So wait a minute. So I missed what you said earlier. They're saying that she should stay in or not stay in?
They're already making the argument that, and they're making all the reasons that she should not drop out, no matter how bad it is.
Not drop out. Okay, interesting.
Is today, that she has a case to go on, and that, for diversity's sake, she should be here, and you never know what happens in the next few states, and yada.
She's
yada,
the only,
yada. But she currently has 8 delegates.
Yeah.
Right, but she's the only other one who can split off votes from Bernie, and
Which
that
is
makes
exactly
sense.
why.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a damn tactic.
Right.
It's so disgusting. And
Otherwise, Bernie's in that lane all by himself with all of his plus some of hers, and yeah.
Right.
I did see a lot of Pete people coming over to Bernie, and I saw some going to. I mean, there probably is definitely a split in that. What do you think?
Well, I think there's a weird split. So Pat, I do the family, like anybody in your family say anything about how they're voting one way or the other, and I've got a very interesting mix. And one of my relatives, we'll just go that far, has said that they were originally for Pete for some very obvious reasons, and that they were pissed off at Pete for dropping out, and now they're going to vote for Biden out of spite. And I thought that was fucked up, but it is what it is, I guess. So, he also,
I mean, how you go from someone like Warren to Biden, or Pete to Biden makes more sense to me somewhat, because ideologically none of them really want to change much.
It does, yeah.
But if we end up with Warren endorsing Biden, which I don't think would be too big of a shock, that's kind of a big ideological jump from what she says she stands for.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so just before that's absolutely true. I will bet you she will, with some bullshit reason on it. But the only reason that Pete going to Biden should be shocking is if you chose Pete for because you're LGBTQ. All right. Which he's kind of shit on his own rainbow there, because he dissed his own husband in an interview, and has been kind of and then so and Biden obviously has basically said, I'm not even for mixed marriages. So it's like it's kind of black and white there.
Right, and I mean I think the core argument, all that Beto came out today as well for Biden. And,
came out.
Yeah.
Well, that came out
kind of, because he's been masquerading, but it's true. He's been masquerading as a progressive,
Okay, so this is funny. We thought it felt a lot like the British baking show when they bring back the contestants that were voted out early on in the season. You're like, oh yeah, that's the guy who threw his cake in the garbage, and it's old home week. Yeah, you got the real heavy hitters. Has Kamala?
Yeah, I missed all those empty platitudes.
Yeah. Has Kamala surfaced anywhere in any form endorsing anybody?
No.
Interesting.
The only time she surfaces through the voice of Bakari Sellers every night on CNN.
Yeah.
Well, so now move the calculator. I can't read that. You got the calculator.
Oh, sorry.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Doing her math over the comments. I can't see what's going on. It's a very sophisticated system we have here. Okay.
Hey. We got good production values, so I heard recently.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we have an inside source told us. Massachusetts going for Biden? What percentage is reporting? That sounds pretty effed.
Yeah, I was just seeing that, and also Maine currently is, and they're both.
What the hell?
Yeah, but I think it's too early.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is just MSM hype, hoping that people that haven't gotten into the doors yet will be watching on their phones and change their minds.
Yeah, because polls have closed. Have polls closed in Texas yet? That's 2 hours. Wait, I've got to.
Right, and looks like Biden was leading in Arkansas.
Yeah, you guys can't see this because I have it framed terribly. Give me a moment, and then we'll take a look at what the NBC folks want to claim for who's got what. So there's the delegate count according to them's, And we'll just put this up bigly. And Biden supposedly with 143, Sanders with 90, Buttigieg 20, Warren 8, Klobuchar 7, Bloomberg 4. How did he bought 4 delegates? Everybody, and Gabbard,
Not delegates, just
Gabbard has 1.
Oh, delegates. Okay. Well,
and there is somebody running against Trump, some dude named Weld, and he has 1 delegate. So I'm all for Weld.
Is it Mike or Doug, something like that? I can't remember.
He's still more popular than John Delaney. Just gonna go there.
Steve Delaney, Paul Delaney.
Yeah, who's
Jeff Delaney? You know, Melissa says Warren is second in Texas.
And who's first? Is Bernie first in Texas, or is that one going Biden's way as well?
Or is Texas, or are we starting with second? Because second is the most.
Right.
Who's in first?
And currently, Biden or Bernie just passed Biden in Tennessee.
Oh, really?
Okay. Wow.
By 0.3%.
Maybe it's my daughter. She just moved there.
That was your daughter, the 0.3%. Wow, tell her that you're the 0.3%.
Nah, you know what? I kind of doubt it was. She just moved. I don't think she even got her registration changed.
Probably not. 69 people watching currently. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. If you want to know who we are, we're Uphill Media, and we used to be Bernie 2016 TV. Some of you probably weren't around for a while because you went off after the last election. But if you've been here and stayed through the midterms and through the latest struggles, hey, if not, welcome back. It's time for you to put your vote and your life on the line to save the planet and humanity. Yes, it really is that serious. And so welcome back to the revolution, everybody. And this is Pat Cote, a.k.a. Nate's Liver, formerly Peter Douche. And
Pat the Burner.
Pat the Burner.
Yeah.
You do a lot of personalities. You want to, how are we still 2 weeks out on the, or are we like less than 2 weeks out on the book?
Your next book.
We haven't gotten a day closer to the 2 weeks.
Okay.
Total deadline, but yeah.
All right.
2 weeks from now, in theory, my book will be done.
All right.
When Life Gives You Don Lemons.
Awesome. And so where is it? You got a Patreon for that, right?
Yeah. I haven't really done much with that, so please don't contribute to my Patreon at this point. But
All
right, I won't set you up for that again. And
yeah, but
I will. I will put it in chat though.
Okay. The book, I'll be selling the book myself, and then probably use Barnes and Noble to sell it online. I really don't want to use Amazon this time around.
Okay. I think that's fair enough. I've been trying to buy books at least from other places. The End of Ice being one of them. It's not even available on Amazon yet. You can get it through an indie provider. So I'm glad you're using Barnes & Noble. I'm surprised Barnes & Noble still exists. That's good.
All right. Patreon.com. Nate's Liver.
She's just going to do it anyway.
Into chat. Well, it's just anybody wants to know.
Well, that's true. That's true.
It's not like you're charging exorbitant prices to be in your inner circle here. So
here, this'll. Do you see this, guys? This is humorous. Here, Alabama 1% reporting Joe Biden won. Arkansas results expected soon. California results expected around 8. Colorado results expected soon. Let's see what else.
9% in Texas, and Bernie's ahead by %.
Bernie's ahead in Texas. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, only 9%.
That's right. I forgot Colorado was going. So shall I be obnoxious and put the stickers on the states there he's ahead?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't know. All I know is I'm looking for accurate data, and it's not here on this Google page. I doubt it's on this page either. I thought this was an interesting little thing here that NBC News put together. Sanders way down at the bottom. Anyway, this is somewhat accurate, I think. We'll keep looking at that, everybody.
One thing I have noticed, just about every poll, every state they're showing, Warren is in fourth, hovering around 8, 9, 10%.
Interesting.
Which would make her pretty much unviable, I would assume, in most districts. And then also, obviously, if you don't hit 15%, you don't get any statewide delegates.
Right. So she's really just in there to siphon off. There's just no
purpose.
Yeah,
it's probably, I would assume if she gets 10% of the vote, maybe 4 to 5% of that would go to Bernie. would be my guess.
Right. Expanding
So
electrons.
even though she doesn't get delegates, she stops Bernie from getting more delegates.
Right. And then what happens to those? Are they
They
relieved?
usually, they just reallocate the percentages and take them out. So if someone gets 8% in a district, there are only so many. A district will have, like, say they have 12 delegates. They just divide them up proportionally with everybody who's over 15%.
Okay. I see what you're saying. So expanding electrons, thank you for your donation of $5.
Oh,
Super
thank
chat
you.
is on. I think it's all about Texas and Massachusetts. Obviously, California is a big prize. How many is Massachusetts worth? Was it 91?
91.
All right, so that's.
But guys, we won't hear California tonight. We won't hear California tomorrow. California is going to be the one state that is probably going to drag out.
You don't think they're going to call it for Bernie early just to lower the woo of it, just like it's done? Yeah.
No, I think it won't be like anytime during prime time tonight, if at all. But I really, after last time, when it was weeks of counting and all the provisional ballots that they've had to hand out, they've been handing out provisional ballots, which we know those are the ones you don't want, because the voting machines weren't working at several. Who would have thought? Universities in California. So college students going all fired up for Biden, no, Bernie, are being given provisional ballots because their voting machines aren't working well for some reason. And those will get counted last and will not be a part of any preliminary delegate allocation.
And can I just say how ridiculous it is that if you're a non-party preference voter, you are responsible on your own to be aware to ask for a crossover ballot when you go to vote.
Yeah.
If you would like to vote for Bernie.
Yeah. So there's that, and then what I saw in Texas was the hundreds of polling places closed, mostly in Black or Latino neighborhoods, which is obviously one of Bernie's strongholds. So. That's a surprise.
I shouldn't show this, but let's just look at WAPO for a second and get upset at here's their Biden dominates among black voters in the early Super Tuesday states.
Yeah. All right. That's the narrative they're choosing for him. They've got to they had to do something. If the others hadn't dropped out, it would have just been another shit show today. So at least they've got someone who is appearing to be a contender, but we know the truth, don't we?
Two Biden headlines so far. Third Biden, he's Biden up here, Biden here, Biden here.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. In the end, I really feel like this is good news that it does elevate Biden, because it'll be Bernie versus Biden. Basically after this. And,
yeah.
Bloomberg with his money, you never know what he could have created.
That's true.
Expanding electrons for $2 says mass is a barometer, not just 91 delegates, in my opinion. So why is it a barometer?
Because it's Lauren's state.
Oh, right. Yeah. Right.
And we got Minnesota with 75 delegates. That's nothing to sneeze at. So any numbers from Minnesota? Or are we only on the East Coast numbers so far?
Tennessee is a strange one, tied Sanders and Bloomberg.
Interesting.
That's really what's percent? Nothing reporting, right? 9, 10.
Low percentage. I think it was 4 maybe.
Oh, okay.
But they were both at 24%, and Biden was just trailing with 23.
Interesting.
Well, I think things are much less expensive in Tennessee, as my daughter tells me. So maybe that's Bloomberg got a bargain.
Bought up more. It's cheaper to buy delegates there.
Exactly.
You can buy votes over there. By the way, I opened the broadcast with video of Shahid Buttar. Yes. And if you're not familiar with Shahid or his campaign, get familiar with it, because he actually is totally positioned to take over Nancy Pelosi's job, and he could easily do it. The guy will have raised more than $1 million easily before the end of the general. He's going to be the second choice in California's primary, and California's a top 2 state. So donate. All right. He's actually got a great campaign staff. He's got a huge amount of volunteers. He can always use more canvassers, but they will be able to knock on, if they haven't already, every single door in his districts, because it's just San Francisco, right? So
fire Nancy Pelosi.
Yes. And Shahid is amazing, and he's getting big press. And I don't know if you saw the most recent thing, which is I should have grabbed the tweet had I been paying attention. Susan Sarandon endorsed Shahid. Nancy Pelosi's spoiled little brat daughter got on Twitter and whined about it.
No, she called Bernie.
Oh, that's right.
She called the manager.
That's right.
She called Bernie's campaign to complain about Shahid Buttar, about Susan Sarandon endorsing Shahid Buttar and saying that Nancy had to go.
Right.
Boy, did that get the pink cat people pissed off.
Right.
Oh my.
That reminded me a lot of Warren complaining that Bernie came and campaigned in her state.
Yeah. Did she
like how
complain
dare
though,
he
or
campaign
were people
in her state?
Did she complain, or were people complaining on her behalf? I never heard her say that, but I heard a lot of people saying, "How dare he go in Amy's and Elizabeth's states, like protecting them."
It was done from the surrogates.
Yeah.
She didn't do it herself. Herself, I mean, she likes to make short jokes about Mike Bloomberg now. Like, when did that become acceptable for Elizabeth Warren to try to make a short joke? I mean, short jokes are fine, but it's not very on brand for Warren to do that.
No, they're just grasping at something at this point.
Right. It just registered as a low for her, to me.
Right. Speaking of tornadoes, Jilly Love, you're absolutely right. Tennessee fine with tornadoes.
Yeah, Nashville got flattened last night by tornadoes, like 20 people dead.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Just out of the blue. And so that's gonna. My first thought was, election day.
Right, and I'm worried about how many people in government in Tennessee are actually interested in the climate crisis, right? That's really where my concern is, and that's
Well, think of it this way: the people that would come out and vote, even with that, would be Bernie people.
Well, yeah, okay,
go there. Or the people that are being paid to do it.
Right.
I'm being very cynical tonight, just because I gotta.
Yeah, Melissa H. Warren just took the gloves off and just went after Bernie viciously, and that's why I don't think she's going to do anything other than endorse Biden, right? So. But
it looks like Buttigieg might be kind of weaseling in there for VP for Biden. Do you think?
Well, who cares? That would be hilarious.
I've heard.
I thought Joe was going to pick a Republican.
Well.
I suspect Joe's going to offer everyone the VP.
He should offer the job to Thomas Friedman and let Thomas fill the rest of the
smells the best
people.
Gets it.
There you go.
Oh my God.
There you go. Every centrist, come my way.
So one interesting thing I'm noticing so far is that Bloomberg, all these polls and state polling, it's early, but he seems to be hitting 15% everywhere for the most part.
Convenient.
Yeah, that's
and easy to say. Oh, look! Now that we've have 3 less people, suddenly everybody is viable. That's cool.
Right. But the interesting. Sorry, there's sometimes a lag, so I'm sorry if I speak over you. But if he doesn't completely tank and hits 15 in a lot of places, he's not going to get out of this race, which is good for us.
You think it's good to have? Okay, so. Well, he's not going to take any Bernie votes. But yeah, it's good because it'll split up the Biden votes.
Yeah, they're all splitting up there amongst themselves.
Exactly.
Really. Okay. Well, Bloomberg did say he was going to be in it till the end, and he's the only one that could afford to, right? So.
Right.
Yeah, I'd let him keep.
But I really would like the debate to be down to just Bernie versus Biden.
Yeah.
I think. Well. So, on that topic, Biden continues to be worse and worse with his mind and his inability to make coherent thought out of words in his mouth. And Bloomberg is deer in headlights on stage. So, although he got a little better last time.
Slightly.
So, who do you think will perform worse in the next debate, Pat?
Yeah. Look, Bloomberg will probably get a little bit better as well. I mean, he was a politician for years.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like he doesn't have experience doing this. He's just got a lot of rust. So
yeah,
I would expect him to get better.
That's true. That's true.
Yes,
but
this is what I was.
Still,
oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
when he gets, if he's challenged for the first time by Bernie hasn't really taken him on. I mean, Warren got to do the dirty work last time, which helped her cause. But if the moment that Bernie does that work instead of Warren, he's going to be really finished, in my opinion.
So,
yeah, agreed.
Militia mentioned get Tulsi in the debate, and she could take out everybody but Bernie. She could, because systematically, she could call out Liz for all her stuff, everything.
If they don't change the rules, and if what I've seen where Tulsi got a delegate tonight, the current rules for the debate say anyone who gets a delegate qualifies for the debate stage.
Interesting.
Cool.
So she's got it.
And I
they would have to change the rules, which is certainly possible. But they've gotten a lot of backlash for getting Bloomberg, changing it for Bloomberg. So I don't know if they would.
When is the next debate? Isn't it like the night, like the 15th? Okay, so the next debate is the 15th. The Hawaii. Oh wait, no, it's a Republican. Is Hawaii?
It's the same time, isn't it? I don't know.
Primary day.
Well, so that would be great to have her in, and they just changed the rule to say anyone but Tulsi. That's all they really.
Right.
They don't need to hide it.
No, next week is the Hawaii Republican caucuses. I don't see where. I was thinking if Hawaii was before the next debate, then she would probably get delegates.
I'll see if I can find out what you guys are talking.
Yeah. I would love to see her on stage. She could just call everybody out and say the things that Bernie would love to say and can't. And then drop out and endorse Bernie.
I'm seeing March 15th.
Okay.
All right. Good.
Well, that's for the debate. I was looking when the Hawaiian primary was, and I had seen it on the 10th, but that's the Republican one.
There we go. Gotcha. Let's take a look at some stats. These are old stats, though, but take a look at some of them.
And the 15th debate is in Arizona, hosted by CNN and Univision.
Ooh, Univision. That might be good.
Right.
We used to be able to run Univision.
We don't need to run Univision. We don't need to run the debates.
No.
We're doing returns, not
true.
returns and debates. Please.
Just looking at some of these states and 7% reporting North Carolina, where Joe Biden's at, 41 delegates. Bernie at 11. So even in these, even if there's just no way that Biden is going to command anything. Even if he wins a good deal of these states, he's not going to win the majority, or he's not going to win so many of their delegates that it renders Bernie's victory impossible. Right? There's just mathematically, it's not possible.
Yeah,
they really have to rig it hard to do that. Right? So I guess it's possible.
Well, and the case really hasn't been made directly against Joe Biden much, So when you get a debate narrowed down to Bernie and him, you can talk about the crime bill, the Iraq war vote, Medicare for all, the bankruptcy bill, all these things that get hidden in a stage full of 10 people, having a little cat fight over silly little stuff.
Yeah, he won't get to sit there and have a little rest, between onslaughts. It'll be pretty. He'll have to pay attention.
That is true. Univision, Teresa Univision did harp over Bernie's love for Castro. I forgot about that. That is true. And my understanding with a lot of the people that were paid to Melissa H. to do Bloomberg work is they were just burners earning extra cash, and they would just tell everybody, Bernie anyway. So.
Right.
So did Bloomberg win American Samoa?
Imagine answering your door.
Huh? Did Bloomberg win American Samoa?
I don't really know, but I think if Tulsi got a delegate, I was hearing that was her best shot at it. So maybe it was Tulsi. Somebody should check.
Yeah, let's see here. Maybe on the delegate page it'll give me like the details of her delegateness. I don't think so.
But like I said, she doesn't have to win the state you just need to get one delegate.
Right.
And she's in. Yep, Bloomberg won America and Samoa.
Wow.
Yeah, everybody's yes, she did.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, it's just the fact that Biden has to speak more during the next debate because there'll be less people. It's going to kill him. I mean, he's just. It's a humanitarian.
There's
thing
only
at this
6
point.
delegates available in America.
6?
Right.
Okay.
6, and one is not determined yet, but right.
Yeah,
Okay.
with nearly 50%. Yeah. Okay. American Samoa have probably got some nice new toys these days.
Well, look at this picture, everybody. Let's just take a moment to talk about. That is, we were down at the rally in San Jose, which was my first Bernie rally. So I'm no longer a Bernie virgin in that sense.
No, you are not.
That's Pat Cote there, and Laura Livengood, and myself, and another Bernie volunteer named Mimi, and Dave Hildebrand, who ran against Dianne Feinstein and back in the day, and is now an SCC member in Northern California, and is hoping he ends up being a Bernie delegate to the convention.
He's running for the Central Committee.
That's right. He's running for this Central Committee.
Yeah.
He's a Northern Vice
He's
Chair.
on the ballot today.
Yeah.
Is he on the ballot today?
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
Okay, well, if you see his name, David Hildebrand, and you haven't gotten to the polling place, which I tisk you should have.
You know who else is on the ballot today is Jose. Jose Caballero.
Jose Caballero.
In CD 53.
Who is running against a non-existent incumbent.
Yeah, something like that.
And
I haven't kept in touch with him. I'm going to look up, see what's going on.
Well, they were playing dirt. Do you know anything going on with that, Pat?
Not much. I like Jose though.
Yeah, he's awesome.
District 53.
I talked to him. I saw him at KDM's too. Yeah, right.
Go ahead.
Interesting.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, no, I saw him at the KDM's not that long ago.
The conventions, yeah.
And he spoke a lot about, he's a really strong environmentalist. So he spoke there.
He was great. So this is Oklahoma. Biden leads Oklahoma, everybody.
Okay, so here's the update on CNN. Massachusetts is still too close to call.
Okay.
Interesting.
But Dennis is saying that Bernie's ahead.
Along with Maine and Tennessee.
Okay. Wow. This is a little different than we were expecting a week ago.
Yeah.
About Super Tuesday.
Right.
But that really, if that had happened, that would have just ended everything. They couldn't let that happen.
So yeah, I'm interested in seeing some updated delegate counts on where we're at. If they're saying it's too close to call or whatnot. This hasn't changed. It's showing NBC showing 156 for Biden and 96 for Sanders. Buttigieg with 29, and Warren still with 8, Klobuchar 7, Bloomberg with his 4, and Tulsi with 1.
I like the way they kind of added her on the side.
They did. They stuck her over here. Just like, you don't get your own line.
Yeah, you get to share it with the billionaire.
So is that confirmed that she does have a delegate?
According to this webpage, yes.
That's CBS.
Well, then she's on the debate stage.
Yeah.
Unless they change the rules.
That's phenomenal.
Hey, Marcus. Marcus is in chat.
Yeah.
And Dennis.
Yeah. So just everybody knows the plan tonight is we're going to sit here and talk about the results, and then at some point we're going to just put it a hold screen on, leave the event running, and go off and eat and do other things, and then come back because
feed the animals.
We really want to be around for the closing of the polls in California, or at least to find out if we have any, so we can get some preliminary numbers out of California. And by then we should have better numbers on other states. But we don't really plan on sitting around here and vamping and refreshing screens and waiting for new results the entire time. Because that would be remarkably boring.
But we'll leave the chat open so y'all can stay and chat amongst yourselves and post news as you see it also.
Exactly. We can, however, run other videos and stuff just for fun. I got the Killer Mike Bernie video up, which is always cool to run, and we can do that stuff. Very poor turnout in your district outside Charlottesville. Sorry, that's too bad, Osama. That's unfortunately. So I'm going to take a moment to drop this message to everybody. If you just remember that no matter what happens after November 5th, that we have a midterm coming up 2 years later, and that we shouldn't stop fighting for progressives to be put in power. And we lose like half of our army once the main election is over, it seems. I think this time that's different. I think there's so many millions of people that are embedded in the Bernie Sanders campaign and have taken roles and done different things that maybe it'll stick around. But my message to all of you is stick around after the general election, as long as the country's not in flames and we're not fighting each other in the streets. And because we have a lot more work to do, right? We have other Shahid Butars to put in power, other AOCs to put in power. We've got a lot of work to give Bernie a Congress that'll actually implement some of the policies he talks about.
Right. So are these ones the North Carolina, Virginia? They've all been called for Joe, right? Like blue check mark called, or are they still projections?
I think that's 3 states they actually did call for Biden.
Okay. So we know.
And they called Vermont. Go figure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Bernie.
So Tennessee and Arkansas are still out there. Maine, Massachusetts, Tennessee,
right?
Oklahoma, Minnesota.
Seeing if let's see.
And they're saying Texas closes in 2 minutes, so that'll be a big one coming up shortly.
Right.
And exit polls say that the top issue in Texas was, can you beat Trump? 56%.
Wow.
You can't make this shit up.
What?
The WAPO is just turning out to be so Tennessee facing voting problems due to tornado. Well, go figure. Biden tops Sanders among elected. So let's count. That's new. So we remember this when Biden dominates black voters in early Super Tuesday states. There's another Biden headline. Biden tops Sanders among electability-focused voters. There's the next headline. Advocates say Tennessee facing the tornadoes, whatever it's tornadoes. Next headline. Why California, which could be Sanders' big delegate prize, may be late to report. Go figure.
Let's set that up. Well, the WAPO, the guy we sat next to at the Sanders rally was the WAPO guy. Sean. Anyway, I went back and was reading what he was tweeting about.
Yeah.
During the thing,
was he saying?
And it was all just kind of vaguely like, I don't know. There's kind of concerned trolling, definitely not pro Sanders at all. Definitely more.
But he was talking about being at the rally.
No, he was doing that while I was at the rally, but he's not. He wasn't saying, "Oh, I'm here at the Bernie rally and it's all great."
Well,
no, he's just sitting there and we saw him in front of his computer.
Yeah,
it was
interesting. It was interesting. This again, the next Biden's Southern support fueled by moderate and somewhat liberal voters. So that's every headline except 2 have been about Joe Biden in the Washington Post coverage so far of the Super Tuesday event. No bias there.
Well, he has. Right. They have called him for more, so they're using that as an excuse.
But these aren't about his calls. I mean,
they're
just talking about where his support's coming from.
Oh yeah, this is all lined up.
It's just the same old shit.
Yeah. You can drop that there.
Yeah, get that out of there. It just keeps popping up. I will never pay for your subscription. I'm just using your page to show everybody what terrible journalism looks like, WAPO.
Yeah.
Jeez. Put this back. Well, anyway, we had an amazing time at the rally, and it was like a rock concert. I don't know how many of you have been to one of his rallies, but it was pretty amazing. And this was in the San Jose Convention Center in this little tent.
A big tent. It was a big old like a circus tent.
And it was
thing.
loud.
The acoustics of it were remarkable. Wouldn't
terrible.
you say?
It was like a tin can. And And Bernie even said it was very loud.
Bernie's going to be speaking soon in Vermont. Thank you, Melissa.
Oh, right on. You guys want to watch Bernie speak?
I'll throw the link in.
Why not? All right, so we're going to put up this screen.
Link in live production.
Okay. So hang on, everybody.
All right, so currently Texas, Bernie's got a 5% lead.
Oh, good.
That's good.
Good.
That's better.
And who's
than
behind
expected.
him? Biden?
But that's weird because I don't know why they're not done yet. Oh,
Yeah.
well, then they did just close. I'm sorry. So
Yeah. But Warren, wasn't somebody saying Warren was second in Texas?
I'll have to see it. We've got 8-second countdown on CNN's,
Oh, wait, someone just posted
breaking
here.
news. Here we come. 2, 1, 0. Key race alert.
Somebody just posted Texas with 21%, Sanders 28.6, Biden 22.6. I'm looking at this is the chat in the under the Bernie video. Is that it? Okay, I'll close this.
All right, I got the rally page queued up here, and it's just the pre-rally stuff. So I don't know how long they're going to go before Bernie actually speaks.
They said someone just spoke, so she said he's coming on soon.
Oh, hang on. All right, well, let me get that all framed up, and you guys can just watch and wait.
So Texas with 20% of the vote in, Bernie's up almost 7%.
Huh? All right. That's great. That's encouraging.
Yes, Melissa, it was wonderful watching John see Bernie for the first time.
I was like a little boy. It was cute. I felt like my first Iron Maiden concert. It's like, it was that loud, like buzzing in my ears.
Oh, Warren dropped to 4th in Texas under 15%. Thank you, Melissa. You guys are so awesome.
Pat, did you just say something? Because I didn't catch any of that in the audio.
I said nothing, but Warren is under 15% currently in Texas, which is a good sign.
Okay, good.
Let's get her out of this race.
Yes.
I mean, she's going to have a tough case to make to still be in this race.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
CNN can try to make it for her, but on her own, how she tries to justify sticking around, not getting many delegates today, it's going to be difficult.
Whatever she can siphon off Bernie, that's what they're probably saying. Anything you can take off, great.
Right.
Sanders is first in Arkansas. Woo! Oh,
wow.
I'm glad to hear that.
Their goal is to try to make it as close as possible with delegates, probably between Biden and Bernie, or I don't know, or maybe the three of them, so that they can call some kind of contested bullshit, right? I mean, Biden even said, even if Bernie's ahead, I saw one thing going around that he's going to call for contested convention, right? So they don't care.
Oh, that's what they all want.
Well, it's openly Warren's strategy now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to get the audio up just so we can hear like when somebody shows up.
Okay.
You guys hear that out there? The audio in the background?
I see lots of signs waving madly.
Yeah. Get it up just a little bit. Of course, let me know if these songs get us banned, although they're running it on YouTube, so I think we're all right. I love the comments on the, you guys, if you're not watching it, really, I love the live stream crew that does the Bernie rallies these days because they've got the bar on the side that's showing how much donations they've raised. They've got a ticker going across the bottom showing, who's donated lately. They do this crazy Bernie head that spins around with a cowboy hat when they reach goals. I just saw "I'm a boomer for Bernie" goes through in the comments.
Yeah, their comments are more moderated now.
Yeah,
I noticed they are on slow and they are definitely keeping the trolls out.
Yep, yeah, they finally got moderators. They got wrenches, which is wonderful.
We have so
but
many.
But I also noticed they let
Go ahead.
handmade signs in for the first time. That's the first time I've seen handmade signs in a Bernie rally. They're usually pretty strict about that.
Oh yeah, yesterday.
Wow.
Yeah, because Summer had her beautiful Bernie head that she was
right,
carrying
like
around.
Right, but someone in front of me had an "Eat the Rich" sign, which I appreciated.
I saw that. I thought that was you. You posted a GIF, didn't you, of the "Eat the Rich" sign?
A very perfect one.
Right. I kept trying to capture the perfect picture with Bernie in it, but he looks like a little dot next to the sign.
Yeah, but he's pointing right at it though, right as it comes over to him, so it was perfect.
Yeah, and the snake is back. Sorry, everybody.
Yeah, we're getting dark in here.
We are getting dark in here.
Sun went down.
And it just at the rally, one thing I want to say is next to me there was a guy and his little daughter, cute like 3-4-year-old daughter. And she kept saying, "Bernie beats Trump," and it was the cutest thing ever. So
that's nice. That's good. I was impressed with the diversity of the crowd, honestly.
Right.
I mean, to me, I saw a lot of old people, and that made me happy.
Okay. A Texas update, still 7%, a little bit more in now.
Bernie's still ahead?
And Bernie, yep. And Oklahoma, he's behind 8% to Biden currently.
Yeah. Axel in chat is saying that Bernie won Colorado. Did we know this already? Did we get this confirmed?
I don't think CNN has called it.
Jilly, yes, Eve Ensler was great at the rally. Who didn't show though? He's Chan. Was someone supposed to speak there?
I don't know, but I do got a video of Jack Johnson playing a little bit.
Who we didn't realize was Jack Johnson. We saw him when we were waiting to go in his press. This guy walks in just in shorts, carrying a guitar. They let him in through the entertainment door. We're like, I said, "Is that Jack Johnson?" You go, "No, you're not old enough."
I didn't think he looked old enough. Of course, all I saw was the back of his head. So I didn't.
He looks like Jack 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then he just gets, then it's the same guy, no costume change, just gets up and starts singing. I said, he's singing Jack Johnson's song.
Right.
So I bet it is.
They apparently didn't broadcast, or they don't stream that stuff, or didn't.
All right, Bernie won Colorado. Oh, Karen will be pleased.
Nice.
Yeah.
And Warren is currently in third in Massachusetts. She's losing her home state to Biden and Bernie.
Wow.
Oh, how sexist of them.
But Biden is ahead in Massachusetts, and that's stomach churning. That's just really
right. Well,
There's some rich establishment people in Massachusetts.
It's a pretty conservative state, all in all, I think. Yeah. So they vote red every time, right?
Interesting. I thought they were a little more on the healthcare for all train, but that might have just been me thinking. That's unfortunate. Yeah, let's see. Do we have any?
Wait, that's not Colorado. That's Colorado.
So according to CNN, we still have 8 states that are too early to call.
8 states that are too early to call. All right.
So Bernie just got 67 delegates. That with the Colorado, that's nice.
Let's see if this is updated here. Where is it? This one.
Who's up in Oklahoma?
Gotta zoom this in.
I keep seeing Bloomberg hovering around 15% everywhere.
Wow.
Well, I think the gap's closing. I mean, Biden at 167 delegates, Bernie's at 115, Buttigieg 26. Everybody else stayed the same. I imagine everybody else is probably going to stay the same, right? So, Bernie will close that gap.
Oh yeah.
Bernie will close.
When he gets Minnesota, that'll be another 75.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Democratic Socialist. Romney cares what I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
So, Pat, what's the narrative on CNN? Are they just pounding that Biden's the surprise, huge Rocky or something?
Yeah, but it's mixed. I mean, I'm not listening to all the audio. I'm just I'm picking it up a little bit because I'm watching and listening to you guys more. But they're also saying, that Bloomberg is around 15% everywhere, which might be the dream scenario for us, where he still has an incentive to not drop out, and obviously Biden's not going to drop out, so the centrist vote keeps getting split.
So who predicts that in the coming days, whatever weeks, we see a lot of news about the DNC reaching out to Bloomberg for a unity discussion?
Right.
So that's not going to benefit them, right?
Bring your checkbook and come over here.
Right.
Well, what I was worried about, I was really worried last night that Bloomberg might drop out. And if he jumped on that train last night with all the other people jumping on that train, we could have been in some real trouble with Biden today.
That is true. That is true. Because then Bloomberg would just become he would just funnel money into the campaign, and yeah.
Right. And as it stands right now, his delegates, whatever Bloomberg wins, he doesn't get to just hand them to Biden. They're free at the convention.
Right. So expanding electrons for another $2. Did anyone think Biden had chance in Massachusetts this morning? I certainly didn't. Pat, I guess you thought they were more conservative.
Yeah, but I mean, it's kind of amazing that they would pick her over Warren. I mean, him over Warren. That speaks more to, like, if Warren comes in third in Massachusetts at the end of the day, she has to drop out. I mean, there's just no justification for sticking around after that.
Right. It's just embarrassing. It's what are you there for?
Right.
Excuse me, everybody. So, what's going on with everybody in chat? Minnesota, Biden 43, Bernie 23 so far in terms of delegates. Thank you, Lynn.
Really? Biden up that much in Minnesota?
Yeah.
Got a key race alert per CNN. Minnesota. It's early, but Biden is up to a good start in Minnesota, 43%.
Yeah,
wow.
That's what Lynn just posted. And Bernie at 23.
That is not expected.
Right.
That is not expected, and that is.
But they're not telling us what big of a percentage they have or anything on that one. So
okay. We know that they're going to play a game where they're going to try to lead with as much pro-Biden surge information as possible.
Right, and it was expected that the early states would be would lean Biden. The good news is yet to come with California. And
right, and I guess as you mentioned and you were talking about earlier, the only what are they going to do with it? They're going to push it off. They're not going to announce. They're going to so we may end up, we'll hold on, but we may end up not coming back tonight because we won't have anything to report. Maybe Texas.
Kind of like Iowa night, like whatever.
Well, it gives them like 2 hours to say Biden, held the black vote and Bernie doesn't have the black vote.
Right. Yes.
Basically.
Just keep pushing this non-fact that they want to hit. Delegate counts update on this page, 180, 120. Nobody else has changed.
Anybody up on the stage yet?
No, I think we're still.
But I am surprised that Biden is actually, leading in a lot of these states at this point.
Well, there's surprise, and then there's cynical surprise. Why is he leading in all these states, and where did all these voters come from?
Right. But, California is really going to tell us a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got one campaign office
Biden
here.
was not polling well here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they had an event there, and they called the press to an event and didn't have anyone there. So they really have no ground game in California whatsoever.
None.
Biden for Senate.
Yeah.
Against Feinstein.
Yeah.
Or Harris.
Are NPR listeners for Biden? That's a good question. My dad's an NPR listener, and he pretty much ends up being for whoever is being pushed hardest, although he ended up voting for Bernie at the end, so thank you, Dad. But boy, that was close.
I listen to NPR all the time. I listen to them all the time, and they feel like a Warren kind of vibe to me.
Okay. Yeah, so they're pushing centrism. They're just pushing centrism light. Let's make it look a little progressive.
Right.
Okay. And anybody think PBS is any better, worse than NPR?
A lot of the same characters and underwriters for both PRI, NPR, and PBS.
I'm watching. You know, they got the people in the crowd doing the things. They're all happy. I think this is probably all a timing game. They're waiting for as much information as possible so that Bernie walks out and says, you know, as much as he can about his victories. But really, all they've given him to say is Vermont, right?
Yeah. Well,
Colorado.
You know he'll make the most of it. He'll talk about he'll be Adriel Hampton's. It really sucks to be Warren and Bloomberg tonight. Yeah. We won Colorado. He just posted that they bought Colorado, so you can talk about Colorado.
Right. So Bernie's got what?
Vermont.
Texas is looking great. Vermont, and then Colorado, and yeah. So that's not bad.
Yeah, if he gets Texas, that would be awesome.
No, you guys don't. Melissa, no NPR for you. Nope, no PBS. Well, so that gives me an opportunity while we wait for somebody to come out to talk to you all about Cork FM. If you want to help us out with reaching rural areas and taking over some of the narrative and not having to worry about copyright infringement, like being able to play any songs we want and broadcast to our website, help us with this. Go to GoFundMe.com/F/Cork FM, or just look for Cork FM on GoFundMe site. And why? This is because we have an opportunity to buy an FCC license for an FM radio in Corvallis, Oregon. Corvallis is rural. There's a lot of red. There's also a college there, so there's a lot of progressive. It's a very interesting mix. But that's not the best part. The best part is that we, with this license, will have the ability to stream to the web and to our website, and we will have the right to stream anything we want. So we can play Led Zeppelin, we can do a Pink Floyd hour, we can do Grateful Dead, we can do Steve Wilson, whatever, it doesn't matter. We can play Beatles, we can play any music we want. We can also broadcast CNN, we can broadcast PBS, NBC, we can legally do that. And at the end of the year, because we have this FCC license under a low-power FM station for nonprofits educational use, we pay less than $2,000 a year to be able to broadcast 24/7 anything we want. That is the first part of this. The second part is with our station, we're now have access to an array of stations across the West Coast and across the United States. And so our content will be syndicated across those other stations, and most of these stations are in rural areas. So you see where I'm going here? For a very low cost, and we can launch Cork FM for $10,000. We're trying to raise 30 so that we can build a studio in Corvallis and run operations for longer. But we can launch with $10,000. That gives us the license, the radio station, puts us on air, gives us money for operating expenses, and we can. And the programming is already there. Okay, the station it's an amazing thing. If you go watch the video at GoFundMe, and I go more into detail. There's also a PDF you can download. Help us do this, because then we can reach more rural areas and get more progressive information into these rural areas and create shows for the people who want to participate in their democracy in these rural areas, which does not happen right now. And this is such a great opportunity for us. Veterans for Peace, the organization, has this license. They've asked us if we would like to take it over because they cannot use it. And if we do not take this license, it will most likely go to a religious organization. And we do not, I mean, I got no problem with religious organizations, but they have enough radio stations, right? Let's do this for democracy. So help us out with that. We can get everybody's podcasts on there. We can syndicate content from Democracy Now!, Jimmy Dore, Pat Cote, anybody, really. And we would be working with you to build this station. So there's my pitch. Ring, ring, ring. I'm done. Thank you, everybody.
Well, I think you should mention, too, that when it starts with a lot of programming already built in. It's not like we have to come up with all new shows and things like that. It can just flip the switch and go.
Right. This was built by a guy named Tom Cotton, and if you look him up, I'm sorry, Jeff Cotton. Tom's the congressperson who's a dickhead.
Yeah.
Right.
Wrong.
That just came out from Political Spew. No, Jeff Cotton, he's an audio engineer, and he's got quite a history of doing some amazing stuff, and he builds these stations. They're basically a Mac Mini, and it's got an 8,000 song library, which you was like, oh, only 8,000 songs. But that's actually 10 times the number of songs that a standard radio station carries, a big FM radio station that's run by MSM. They only carry about 800 or 900 songs in their playlist. We've got 8,000 songs, and we can add any that we want to it, right? So, and we don't need a physical studio to begin programming. The program's already in there. It's an automated system. This is how modern radio works. You don't need a studio. You need the ability to create podcasts and the ability to create pre-recorded material that then gets uploaded and gets interplayed between songs. And that's how a modern radio station functions. We can also go live, but that would require a little more work and a studio spot to do that with, like the one we have here, okay? But this is an entrance into that market. It's a medium where we have the rights to stream political speech, and that is what is most important, because we can't do that on YouTube. We can't do that anywhere without facing copyright restrictions from corporate-owned media, which now broadcasts our political speech, right? So it's really an amazing thing, and it would help all of the indie media networks that are right now currently stuck on the bubble of the internet. And that's really what we're trying to break out of, is the internet bubble. A Sinclair local television station costs $2.5, $3 million, $4 million, and then you got to staff it, right? This is a radio station. It's something that's doable, something that's attainable by the 99% right now. So there you go. All right, they're showing different shots. Maybe they're getting ready here. Let's see. What do we got for audio? No.
I think one of the biggest cheers of the day at the San Jose rally was when they brought the podium out.
That's so true. Do you remember that, Pat?
It's an exciting time. I can't hear Pat.
Yeah, I can't hear you, Pat. Did we lose you?
There we go.
Okay.
Hear me?
You were off watching CNN. What's going on? You got updates?
Yeah, Texas, 24% of the vote. Bernie is still up 6.5%.
Nice.
Massachusetts, I missed the percentage, but Biden is at 31.9. Bernie's at 26.9, and Warren's at 23.7. So she's in a strong third in her own state.
Well, isn't that nice?
So Pat, before you go on, so if she can hold that, then she will be viable in her state, correct?
Yeah. So the way viability works, a lot of people are confused on it. So to get any delegates at the district level, which is where the majority of the delegates are distributed, you need to get 15% in that individual district. So even if you don't hit the 15% threshold for the state, which is what they always show you on TV when you look at the poll numbers, you may hit above 15% in certain districts, which would qualify you for delegates.
All right. That makes it. Thank you. I appreciate the clearing that up. Everybody wants to know how this is going to work. Somehow I just feel whatever it is, it's going to disfavor Bernie. That's
right.
Yeah, that's pretty much you can count.
Everybody wants to know there's almost 2,000 people watching the Bernie stream now, just waiting for somebody to show up, and they just keep raising money.
But also in Texas, Warren is under 15%. She's at 14% in Texas, right?
Ah, okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, and any other updates then?
I'm just following it live right now, but that's Oklahoma. Biden's ahead 30% to 21% for Bernie, with 10% of the vote in.
All right.
Maine is neck and neck with Bernie at 34.5 and Biden at 34.3.
Oh.
Warren again in third, but under 15% at 14.1.
Wow.
Arkansas, Biden slight lead at 26.2, Bernie at 23.3, Bloomberg in third at 19.2. So here again, Bloomberg, hitting the viability number of 15%.
This is turning out to be quite different than expected and really going to leave us with some interesting questions after this Tuesday, I feel. But the night is young.
Colorado, Bernie's got a big lead in Colorado. He's at almost 40%, 39.1%. Bloomberg, I don't know how Bloomberg is second in Colorado, of all places. They would seem very anti-Bloomberg to me, but
Bernie's campaign has already called that they've won Colorado. It's been called.
Good.
I saw that on Facebook.
CNN hasn't called it yet, but
of course not.
Right.
Well, so let me tell you about Colorado a little bit and why Bloomberg is popular. Colorado is a seemingly progressive state, but it's only that way in terms of money. Colorado is like very Warren in that way, and Bloomberg would appeal to them just from finance. Colorado is full of a lot of people that make a lot of money off the fossil fuel industry because they fracked the shit out of Colorado in the last 20, 30 years.
Right.
All right. And it's just even their supposed progressive governor that everybody's excited about, who said he was going to tackle the fossil fuel industry, the moment he was endorsed by the previous governor, who was like the guy, I think he ran for freaking office. I think it was Bennett. I can't remember. No, Hickenlooper. That's his name.
That's right.
It's all those idiots that ran. Hickenlooper was basically sucking tailpipe of the fossil fuel industry the whole time he was in office and let them lay infrastructure all over the frickin' Denver metro area and everywhere. And he basically told Polis, I'm not going to anoint you unless you make sure you kiss the ass of the fossil fuel industry. And the moment Polis was in office, he completely backed out of all his agreements to cut down on fossil fuels and just went full bore on let them continue to do their thing. This is the kind of fake progressive, right? And so that's Colorado looks at Bloomberg and says, there's a guy who's going to keep us fat and happy with our cash, and he's not going to fuck with our fossil fuels, right? That's basically what you got there. Although I will say I'm glad they're voting that the majority is going for Bernie, right? And I want to thank my 78-year-old proto-boomer father for voting for Bernie Sanders, even though he was a little confused for a while there with some other folks, including Biden at one point. It's just, Dad, don't. It's like a kid who keeps touching the candy. Like, stop it. Get away from him. Jesus.
Have him talk to my parents when he comes out, okay?
Yeah, now we've got to have my father's got to testify for your parents.
Yes.
Her parents are slightly older and they're more centrist, so we've got to work on them.
Well, they're more Elizabeth, I think.
Warren?
I suspect
where are they going to go now?
I don't know.
Pat, are you working on any family members?
Mine are all Bernie folks at this point because I'm inseparable.
Here. Well, my God, if they know you online and they follow you, it would be hard for them not to be at this point. For fuck's sake.
Or they're all lying, and collectively, I'm the only one not in on the joke.
Just do it for Pat. Yes. It's so sad.
Just
humor him. You work so hard.
It's adorable.
No, there's still nobody out on stage at the Bernie event. I'm keeping a very close eye here. I remember back in the old days, I'd done that before. People would be up there talking, and I didn't even notice. And just still be going.
What state is Bernie about to speak in?
Vermont.
Oh, Vermont?
Yeah, it's a rally in Vermont.
Gotcha.
Because he had to go home and vote.
Right.
He drove Jane to the polls today.
So,
yeah.
And then he didn't unlock her door. She had to stand and say, Bernie.
Seriously?
Yeah,
shit. Well, I'm sure that big gaff will lose him mega points and land on the first
See how
page.
horribly he treats his wife.
Right.
Yeah.
Gonna look at delegate counts here. 183, 122. Nobody else has changed. Oh, no, wait. Warren has picked up 1, everybody. Warren is up to 9.
Bless her heart.
She can't drop out now.
Dang. Think who all the people she would disappoint.
Right.
All those pinky promises she made the little girls.
Mm-hmm. In the selfie line.
I do want to say something. I did not realize it. I'm like, holy shit, and it's unfortunate. And I just want to say this, although I know there's probably nobody in our revolution watching that cares, but I really am sad that our revolution chose to become a 504C.
Yeah.
Right? Shame on you. Bad idea. And Jeff Weaver, dude, I don't know why you think that's a good idea, but it makes me think you're more Warren than Bernie, and so please, bad idea. Let's be transparent with our cash, man. You're worried about fighting lawsuits? We're right there. We got you. There's got to be a lot of lawyers for Bernie, right? There's got to be a few.
Right.
That's bad because it's this whole hiding your donors thing is part of the problem, and so that's just my view. That's Pat. You got a different take on that?
My connection cut out for just a second there, so apologies.
Oh, that's all right. I was just wondering what you thought of the whole 504C and whether our revolution should be that. Did we lose you?
Yeah, no, I don't know enough about the PAC structure and the nonprofit structures to really speak to that. Honestly, I defer to your wisdom.
The 501c4 is more for advocacy groups. That's why they call they're calling them dark money, but they're meant to be places that people could donate without having it be a big political public donation. It's not tons of money, is what I understand. But like Sunrise Movement, Nurses Association, and Our Revolution just being three, any donation they make to a candidate is, public record. And I don't think that there have been inordinate amounts of money that they have donated. I think they're just calling out that one in particular because it was what was formed by Bernie's, the Bernie, part of the party as the stopgap between the 2016 and 2020 election. I don't think it's as big an organization as it was before.
Right.
Gotcha.
These numbers, Warren, viable in Colorado. We're just talking about 16.7 according to this. So.
And just for shits and giggles, I switched to MSNBC. So
oh, how fun.
If I poke my eye out with my pen or something, you'll know. Because, right.
Are they, as far as you're concerned, the worst?
Watching Kornacki on the big board.
Oh. Yeah. My hatred ran most for CNN throughout this, but but it sounds like MSNBC has really outdone him.
Right.
Yeah, that's what you were saying the other day, Pat. You can't watch MSNBC.
Yeah, I mean, I used to watch them both equally, and then maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I just hit a point where I couldn't watch MSNBC anymore.
After you watch MSNBC without Chris Matthews,
Chris Matthews resigned on air last night.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Just said bye-bye and left.
Really?
Yeah. Didn't even have his show. He just went live and said, "I'm retiring," and
walked off.
Booked it out.
Yep.
Damn.
It's kind of amazing. And then Jason Johnson was let go last week, or at least sidelined.
Sidelined. Was that sideline suspended? No, sidelined. I think that was what I heard. Which is will fade out.
Note from chat. Thank you, Melissa. Says that Bernie's supposed to be on in about 30 minutes. That puts us at about 7 o'clock. Everybody.
Oh, is that when Bernie's going to be on?
That's.
I'm sorry.
According to Melissa in chat, and just so sources. Been looking at somebody on there. We got 62 people still hanging out with us. Thank you for being here. We don't have any flashy graphics. We don't have any entertainment news capabilities, but we are trying to be entertaining and talk about the primary news.
So MSNBC just projected Colorado for Bernie.
Okay.
Only what, like half an hour away behind the real news sites.
Right. Sanders slightly closing the gap on the delegate count here on NBC with 129 to Biden's 183.
Yeah, as Lynn points out, the Colorado delegate count will be all over the place from all three of them being viable.
That's true.
Yeah, even Warren had 17% there.
Yeah, that's like, yeah.
But that's for fourth place, and that's Warren's problem.
But
She's
Roe.
not even coming in third in most of these states.
Face.
Sorry, Pat. Yeah, I heard you. This is Faiz Shakir, the campaign manager.
He will never compromise, and that's why he deserves to be our next president of the United States. All right, folks, I want to introduce to you somebody who has been
Are you going to his audio?
in the cockpit for his entire life.
Yeah.
Someone who has been traveling the country, and by the way, where she has traveled, we have been doing very well tonight. Someone who is not only one of the top closest advisors to this campaign, close advisor to me, someone who has given us
Hang on, everybody. So Pat, you can't hear that, right?
No, I can't. I can hear you. That's it. But that's fine.
So
be a wonderful First Lady of the United States, Jane Sanders.
let's cut over, listen to Jay, and then we'll be right back. All right, I'll turn on audio so you can hear.
That's right. Back in a few.
All right.
It's great to be here in Vermont. Thank you so much. Do you know what today is? It's Super Tuesday, but it's also the anniversary of the first mayoral win when Bernie won in 1981 on March 3rd. So we thought that was a good omen for this night, and neither of us even considered being anywhere else but here tonight. So I want to begin just by saying thank you, Vermont. You know, our motto is not me, us, and that is indicative of the fact that this is a movement. This isn't just a campaign. Bernie says all the time, it's not just about him. It's not just about winning the presidency. It is about transforming this country. And this movement started right here. I've had the pleasure to go all over the country, and honestly, we were young, long time ago, when he won, and you all educated us as to how to listen, how to work with the communities, of various communities across the state, whether it's the farmers or the activists or every group that we have. You taught me, at least, that being a community organizer was more important than being a politician. We have so enjoyed being part of the Vermont community, and we've brought that everywhere that we've gone. Just in the last week, I've been to Tennessee, Oklahoma, Minnesota, Utah, California, and I don't know where else. And then Bernie had been to 7 other states in the last week. So we've been going all over this country, bringing your common sense to the rest of the country and meeting people just like you, people who have a vision for the future of America, for it to be what we want it to become, a more inclusive society, a more tolerant society, a more loving, compassionate society. Thank you. But really, honestly, we learned it all here in Vermont. We're thrilled to be celebrating here with you tonight. We have a number of wins under our belts already. And there's a number more to come. But, you know, Bernie talks policy all the time. He talks about ideas and vision for the future. He's an inspirational leader. But I want to tell you what I think Vermonters already know. He is a caring, compassionate man and a fantastic, I want to take this opportunity among my close friends to say that I appreciate him so much as a partner in life, as a father to our children, as a grandfather to our grandchildren, and an inspiration to me. So anyway, I just wanted to come out and say hi and tell you how glad I am to be home. And Bernie will be out soon, okay? Just want to, I know he has a few things that he's dealing with, but like 14 states, but he'll be here shortly. And thank you again so much from the bottom of our hearts. Bye-bye.
Well, that was short, but a nice little, nice speech there from Jane. And I'm hoping they've picked some songs that are okay for YouTube.
I know.
And I'm sure they have, because they're streaming them out on YouTube. But, we'll just keep an eye on it. Have any more updates? Let's see.
Maine is really close. Biden and Bernie. Biden's still ahead in Massachusetts and Warren in third.
All right. All right. Look at delegate counts here. 191 for Biden, 135 for Sanders, according to this. Nobody else has moved. Maybe the Klob. Did the Klob have 7 before? I don't know. She's got 7 now. Maybe she had 7 before. There. That's what it looks like currently. There's Pat coming back. There's Morgan. Of course, he's not on camera right now. Well, come back. You can bomb the shot. Morgan is Laura's son. He lives with us here. Yes, there we go. We're on camera. There.
They are a nail biter.
Yes. Yes. Morgan's just dropped by to ask us how things are doing. It's not as great as I expected, I'll tell you that. But 194, 136. So hopefully that gap will close a little bit more. We know it will.
But not in prime time.
Thank you, Osama number 5. Glad you're here with us. Things are a little different. Got Pat back. Pat, can you hear us? He can. Updates. Got anything?
I can hear you guys. I'm listening to the all-inspiring James Clyburn telling everyone to go out and lobby for Biden.
Wow.
Rich. All right.
I saw a post from Benjamin Dixon that said that was Biden's strategy, is to find a Clyburn for every state. You know.
right? But even with Biden doing better than we probably thought tonight, it's all front loaded. So, the back end of tonight is still going to have Bernie pulling ahead of this day.
Right, but they've already let us know that they're basically going to snuff the excitement and drag it out and potentially not announce till way after prime time, and it's just the same old shit.
Well, exactly. And if you don't actually, total the votes and look at the demographics and what happened in California and Texas, or what will happen, it lets them perpetuate this narrative that Bernie still has a problem with black voters. So they're gonna push that as long as they can tonight and suppress the actual results from California and Texas.
Statement from the Sanders. What they're saying, the Sanders team is asking supporters is to keep your powder dry and wait for results in states like Minnesota, Colorado, Texas, and California. Saying we have states all across the country where we are strong. Senior advisor, Jeff Weaver, there's your fave. Said to CNN, it's all about the delegates. Weaver hinted that the beginning of the night may not be comfortable for Sanders supporters, but promised that things would improve for them as the polls start closing out west. I'll say this about tonight. Weaver said, you've got to eat your vegetables first.
Well, yeah, I have no problem with Jeff in that aspect, and I'm glad he's there, and he's a great guy, and I like him. I just thought the decision to do that with our revolution was a bad one in lieu of the positioning, but whatever. Our revolution isn't the Sanders campaign and vice versa, and they aren't donating to. They're not doing what other PACs are doing, which is creating negative ads or massive amount of ad campaigns against the other candidates and for Bernie. They're not even doing that. They're just organizing in a totally different way. So that is the truth of that. Thank you all for being here. There's 6160 watching us right now.
Bye.
Thank you all for being here. We got $11 in the super chat, and I don't remember recognizing all $11. So thank you, $11.
That's probably electrons.
Is that all electrons?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Natural Progressive. Thank you.
I thought so. I didn't see that. Hey, Natural Progressive.
Hey,
thank
Chris.
you for dropping that $2.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you in there. Appreciate that. This is independent media, and you guys are the funders, the cheering section, the marketing department. Without viewers helping us share this information, it doesn't get anywhere. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being here. What are you scared about, Maddie? Being a Bernie supporter.
All the shenanigans.
Climate crisis, Trump. What scares you the most? DNC riggery?
Hey, Julie. So nice to see you at the rally on Sunday. Got you on video. You beautiful woman, yeah. Glad you're here. Is Damon there too?
Stats keep changing, everybody, but it looks like they keep Biden with a 60 delegate lead.
It's just so hilarious.
The voice of MSM. It burns. Any news on the dark side?
We've got Biden up 3.5% on Bernie in Minnesota. Minnesota.
That sucks. But that's not too much.
Right.
So if you didn't
I'd really like to see how many states Warren is above 15% in. Yep. Go on.
No, that's a good question. That is a good question. I'd love to find
Minnesota was one of them. She's at 22% there. That's what made me think about it. But I didn't see her above 15%, and I don't know any necessarily other than that. That might be the first one I noticed, at least.
Let's go down the list. So Alabama, she's at 5. All right, and let's see here. Nobody's reported there yet. Colorado, we know she's got 16.9. All right. Massachusetts, she's got 20.1%, so she's holding strong there. Biden's still leading in Massachusetts, which is frightening. But look at the delegate count: 6 for Biden, 6 for Bernie. Right? It's getting chopped up.
Right. Well, that's where this whole night still comes down to the same thing. If Bernie ends up with a huge win in California, that's decisive, and they know it still. So all these inroads in these other states, they're significant, but in California, most of the other candidates were hovering around 15%. So
Right.
Bernie was at, I think, 34% on average.
Right.
Melissa just commented that they're playing Burnin' Down the House.
That's true.
I don't get hit with these songs. I'm starting to worry me. I wonder if we should mute them.
Density McCarty, thank you for a $20 donation in Super Chat. Thank you for being here. Density's been with us for a long time. Appreciate that. And yeah, I'm waiting. So if we hear if it gets struck, but like I said, they're on YouTube. So my guess is somebody with their live stream crew finally figured out that they can only pick certain songs, and so because they get hit too, they don't get any special treatment. So and they certainly wouldn't from YouTube.
Indeed not.
Yeah. So yeah, we're just waiting on Bernie to speak. We're waiting on some results to come through. It's hitting around 7 o'clock Pacific time, and really appreciate everybody being here. And if you haven't done it already, and you really want to support Bernie Sanders and the movement, go to the Burn app, sign up, go to the Burn map, and find an event near you.
Yeah.
Right, get involved somewhere with the campaign. It's massive. You want to do something that you got talent. You can do anything you want to do. I guarantee they'll find a way to put it to use for the campaign.
Yeah.
Right.
And if you're in a state that has already had its primary, you lend yourself to a state that's coming up, because everybody needs your help.
With these hands.
Yeah.
You see that video get released?
Do we have that? Can we play that?
If we find it, if you can grab me the link, I can run it up that way. But I don't have.
So I just checked Twitter for.
Go ahead, Pat.
I just checked Twitter for the first time, and I'm seeing some chatter about Bloomberg reassessing his campaign tomorrow.
Oh, really?
Which is interesting because I think he's outperforming my expectations today.
Interesting. We just saw something today. Just him walking down the street saying, "Oh yeah, no, I'm in it till November 3rd," which assumes that he'll be the nominee, of course. So
I would take that to mean that's reassessing, meaning we're awesome, and now we're gonna even be more egotistical about our chances.
Great.
Right. I mean, my hope is that he doesn't drop out strategically.
I'm hearing this people saying that Bernie's got to stop being soft on Joe. He really has to come down a little harder now that it's narrowing to just he and Joe. I mean, make it obvious.
Right. Well, I think they've been waiting on that move. Once it just needed to fit in.
Yeah. You need to clear things out. I'll say it again.
And before this consolidation, Bernie was winning 14 out of 15 of these Super Tuesday states.
Right.
So you wouldn't want to.
We do have a delay going.
We got a really bad delay going on now, Pat. Sorry about that.
Oh, sorry.
I'm looking forward to debates without Buttigieg on the stage, talking over people, and Amy almost crying several times during the debates. That got a little bit much.
Yeah, exactly. Go ahead, Pat.
I don't know if you want me to talk. I'm watching James Carville on MSNBC, and you might see me actually stab myself in the eye with a pen. This one's a rough one.
I'm going to admit right now that I was a person who actually liked James Carville in the past, and now I just think he's a dick.
You're right.
Very sad with his centrism. No, I didn't. Bloomberg bought 3 minutes on national TV to talk about coronavirus. What did he have to say about it? How he was going to take care of it? Oh, actually, I got to say something my dad said. This is, again, Dad voted for Bernie, but something crazy that just like, another thing. Apparently, Bloomberg has management experience. I guess this is something MSM was selling. Bloomberg's management experience as mayor or as CEO, opposed to Bernie's non-management experience as mayor and politician for 30 years. Apparently, that's a separation. You heard about this, Pat? I'm sorry, James must have just got you silent in anger.
Or it's a bigger delay than we thought.
Yeah. I think he's just watching James. That's all right. They got a good music set going on for this.
Yeah, Dee Dee says at Bernie's rallies in California, he was starting to come down on Biden. Yeah, but on his record, not on his, his abilities to have the office. But yeah, he's definitely knows who he needs to focus on.
For sure. Oh, they got people standing up. This might be a good sign.
This looks like a good sign. They must be waiting for another return.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll probably get the most updated and accurate information from Bernie.
I was switching the laundry.
Yeah, so Carville, let's give you the Carville update real quick. He's making the case that, tonight voters are speaking bold and loud and clearly, and it, Bernie should probably get the point and drop out is essentially his point.
Oh. So
Right.
The country's saying we want Biden.
The country has spoken, they want Biden, and, Democrats want to get on to the general election, and Bernie should take a hint.
Right.
Of course, California hasn't, at the end of the night, Bernie's going to have delegates. So it's kind of ridiculous.
Right. But delegates don't matter, right? Somehow they'll make delegates not matter. It's just
right.
And my guess is that they won't make it clear that he's got more until quite late in the process. Certainly not something that they'll advertise.
Yeah, they have to
happens.
figure out if the popular vote matters, if the delegates matter.
Number of
whatever
states,
narrative Bernie's ahead in. Right.
I'm going to go with the number of states where Joe Biden was viable. That's going to be the number that they can use that's bigger than, I don't know, maybe? Who will have won more states at the end? Biden seems to be pulling off like little victories in these states. So
Well, we got a lot yet to. Yeah, he's got what, 4? No, 3 for sure. So still no Tennessee or Arkansas, as far as we know.
I thought Arkansas was a done deal.
MSNBC is giving Biden Tennessee.
Wow.
Okay.
They have them at 5 states: Virginia, North Carolina, Alabama, Oklahoma, and Tennessee, with Sanders winning Vermont and Colorado, and then Bloomberg winning American Samoa.
So if Joe could just stay there in the South, that'd be just fine.
According to this, Bernie only has a 5% lead in vote count in Texas. Everybody's been of the Bloomberg's viable in Texas. He's got a delegate. Everybody's got one delegate there. It's interesting. 9% reported.
Oh, only 9%? Okay.
Yeah, on this, it may be more on another.
That's a good point, Melissa. All these states that Biden's winning are states that won't go to Democrats in the general.
That's true. That is very true. We got to remember that. I always forget that. He bought Samoa. Yes, Julie, he did apparently. Small enough. I suppose he could literally just buy all of Samoa. The whole.
Yeah.
Own it.
Buy him a new pool table or something for their rumpus room.
Yeah. just to prove to you nothing's happening anymore. We just got the music in the background and just waiting for Bernie because they're waiting to make some announcement that they don't have the numbers on. Yeah. I agree, Jilly. A vote for Biden is definitely a vote for Trump. A vote for anybody but Bernie is a vote for Trump to win in the general, as far as I'm concerned. The Democratic Party proper doesn't care. They've made that clear. Chris Matthews made that clear. He gave away the big party secret. That's why he had to quit. You know? We're waiting for Pat. It's a very painful job that Pat has there, is soaking up MSM information and filtering it out for us. So we really appreciate him sitting in there to do that.
Well, don't appreciate it too much. I have them muted because Matt, I was talking and I just
thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
Yes. No one wants to hear Rachel.
Yeah, I just don't care.
No.
I'm looking. Hank's Fingers on Twitter just said, watching Yang in full sellout mode on CNN has got to be devastating for the Yang gang.
Yeah.
And
how unfortunate. He just turned fast. Oh, we got screams. Hang on. Oh no, we got signs waving. Not screams.
The Utah just closed, but it's too early to call. But that should be a strong Bernie state coming up here.
Yeah. And yes,
31 delegates. Oops, wait.
What? 31 delegates?
They're just showing the delegate totals awarded from the states already. Sorry.
Yeah.
But Utah should go towards Bernie. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, whoever asks.
Mr. Dent.
Tulsi did make the, as far as we can tell by the rules currently as they exist, Tulsi has made the debate with one delegate.
Mm-hmm.
However, we know how the DNC is with rules. So.
I think she would add to the ratings, but we were talking about this earlier before you came on, Mr. Dent. We were saying how satisfying it would be to have Tulsi come and just rip everyone and expose everyone for Bernie, and then drop out of the race and endorse Bernie, and we will all be happy.
There you go.
I would love her on there.
There's the failing campaign of Bernie Sanders right now, with not very many people there, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Expanding electrons with $5. Bill Hicks was right. Obama is American gladiators. All right. I have not heard that phrase.
Expanding electrons, you have been awesome tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Axelrod is now pretending that
So I
Bernie
have
won Colorado.
total...
I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Pat.
Go ahead, Pat.
All right, the delay is probably pretty bad here now.
Yeah.
So the total of delegate count per MSNBC won tonight. So far they have Biden picking up 157, Bernie picking up 92, Bloomberg picking up 9, and Warren only with 1 delegate tonight.
What?
Wow.
Well, that doesn't match any of the numbers they're putting out on Google.
Hey, our boss.
Or these numbers.
Our boss Alex though put out his spreadsheet, his projections.
Did he?
His model predicts that Sanders will win, and this is 5 minutes ago. It will come down to how many people vote for Biden in California. Projected delegates at the end of the Super Tuesday states: Biden 484, Sanders 662, Warren 187, Bloomberg 125. Oh, I hear cheering.
Okay, those were all just predictions from our boss. And
Yes.
while he is a crazy genius,
Yeah,
it's
he's
just-
also
there's a
pretty
prediction.
smart.
President of the United States, Bernie
Yay,
Sanders.
Bernie!
I'm going to try to do something so that you can hear this, Pat.
All right.
Do you hear it now? No?
That's okay. I'll mute this. Listen to MSNBC while you guys are watching that.
Sounds good.
Thank you, Vermont. You know, it's a funny thing. 31 years ago today, we won the mayoral race in Burlington, Vermont. And we won that race against all of the odds. Everybody said it couldn't be done. And when we began this race for the presidency, everybody said it couldn't be done. But tonight, I tell you with absolute confidence, we are going to win the Democratic nomination. And we are going to defeat the most dangerous president in the history of this country. We are going to win. We are going to defeat Trump because we are putting together an unprecedented grassroots, multi-generational, multiracial movement. It is a movement which speaks to the working families of this country who are sick and tired of working longer hours for low wages and seeing all new income and wealth going to the top 1%. It is a movement which says the United States will have health care for all as a human right. It is a movement that says we will bring major reforms in education, making sure that all of our kids can go to college without coming out in debt. Now, what makes this movement unique is we are taking on the corporate establishment. We are taking on the greed of Wall Street, the greed of the drug companies who charge us the highest prices in the world, the greed of the insurance companies, and given the existential crisis of climate change, we are saying to the fossil fuel industry, their short-term profits are not more important than the future of our country and the world. But we are not only taking on the corporate establishment, we're taking on the political establishment. But we're going to win because the people understand it is our campaign, our movement, which is best positioned to defeat Trump. You cannot beat Trump with the same old kind of politics. What we need is a new politics that brings working class people into our political movement, which brings young people into our political movement, and which in November will create the highest voter turnout in American political history. So we're going to beat Trump because this will become a contrast in ideas. One of us in this race led the opposition to the war in Iraq. You're looking at him. Another candidate voted for the war in Iraq. One of us has spent his entire life fighting against cuts in Social Security, wanting to expand Social Security. Another candidate has been on the floor of the Senate calling for cuts to Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, and Veterans Program. One of us led the opposition to disastrous trade agreements which cost us millions of good-paying jobs. And that's me. And another candidate voted for disastrous trade agreements. One of us stood up for consumers and said we will not support a disastrous bankruptcy bill. And another candidate represented the credit card companies and voted for that disastrous bill. So here we are. We have two major goals in front of us, and they are directly related. First, we must beat a president who apparently has never read the Constitution of the United States. A president who thinks we should be an autocracy, not a democracy. But second of all, we need a movement and are developing a movement of black, white, Latino, Native American, Asian American, gay and straight. Of people who are making it clear every day they will not tolerate the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality we are experiencing. We will not give tax breaks to billionaires when 500,000 Americans sleep out on the streets. We will not allow 49% of all new income to go to the 1% when half of our people are living paycheck to paycheck. Now, I don't know what's going to happen later tonight. We're doing well in Texas right now. We won Colorado. And I'm cautiously optimistic that later in the evening, we can win the largest state in this country, the state of California. But no matter what happens, if this campaign, and I don't know what will happen, but if it comes out to be a campaign in which we have one candidate who is standing up for the working class and the middle class, we're going to win that election. And if we have another candidate who has received contributions from at least 60 billionaires, we're going to win that election. And if there is another candidate in the race who is spending hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars, we're going to tell him, in America, you cannot buy elections. So I am excited about where we are. We have come a long, long way. And I want to, once again, thank the great state of Vermont and all of the people in the state. Not only for the victory you gave our movement tonight, but for the years and years of love and support you have given me and my family. So Vermont, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you all very much. Let's go on to the White House. Thank you.
And that was Bernie's speech, letting you know that later on this evening, he's definitely got some other things planned, right? I love that they have that.
That was nice.
Hang on a second, I got to get the screen up there. Yeah, the graphics guy's slow. So, there we are. There it is. Any updates, Pat, from the CNN world?
Let's see. Just that Biden is currently up 61 delegates total. Not from tonight, but just in the race itself. So we have 61 delegates to make up by the end of the night. Which California, we're expected to probably, even if it was a close race in California, I think Bernie probably picks up an extra 100 there. So I think we're in good shape.
So yeah, I think what we're going to do here is when we heard a Bernie speech, we know we're waiting on California results. And those are the big results. Texas, we're pretty sure are going to come in here, but we know California is the big one. So, and he will end up being a victor in California. Will end up with more delegates than anybody else in the race, right? That's what we're looking at. We all agree. So, are they making any more predictions on MSM right now, or do we want to just cut to a break and come back after we hear some California news?
I vote break. I don't think we're going to hear much for a little bit. Utah will be the next state to probably report, but I think we should go and come back.
All right, let's just take a look at the map real quick if I can get back to it. What is the how many delegates are we looking at in Utah?
29.
29 delegates, okay.
Yeah. I just saw something on Twitter that I thought was helpful because there's a lot of people very upset, as you can imagine, saying what a horrible night it is. It says, Major Bloodknock says, guys, please, we got this. In every state, Bernie is viable. In every state, he's getting half the delegates. On top of that, he's going to win Texas and California. He's got Vermont and Colorado. And he will win Maine and possibly Alaska. And no, he put AK for Arkansas. Actually, that should be.
Yeah, this is nothing. This is nothing to panic about tonight.
Yeah, we're doing great. So we're doing great.
I mean, honestly, it isn't. We knew California would come in late.
Yep.
At the end of the night, we're going to be the delegate leader, and the race is going to narrow to Bernie versus Biden most likely. Mm-hmm. So couldn't ask for more. I mean, that's going to be great for us.
Right. What's not going to be normal about this is that if this were any other fucking candidate, MSM would be gleeful and talking about what's really going to happen and that Sanders is going to run away with it, and you'd see a lot. But that's not how it is. They're going to minimize his wins. They're going to make it look like, even though he is rolling away with it and this Tuesday, they're going to make it look like he barely had a chance and that Biden's the strong victor, because that's just the bullshit narrative that they want us to hear.
Mm-hmm. Right. But this is going to do the whole Joe-mentum thing.
Yes, Joe-mentum.
Lynn, you asked when California starts coming out. Polls don't close here for another 40 minutes. They close at 8. So, and we're not going to know finals for California for some time.
Let's just refresh the WAPO page and see what they're not reporting. So there's Sanders watches as Super Tuesday results trigger. He finally put Sanders on the cover of a campaign. Sanders campaign eagerly awaits news from later reporting states. Oh, look, they've kind of thrown some Sanders stuff in there. Biden is projected to win Arkansas Democratic presidential primary. Sanders seeks to project optimism despite early losses. Oh, man.
I hate these people.
Fuck you, Washington Post.
Really hate these people.
Jesus.
We should have totally kicked that guy in the shins who was sitting next to us at the rally.
Yes, kicked him in the shins. 248 to 174 is the delegate count we're showing here. 14 delegates on Warren. Bloomberg with 9. Tulsi still got her 1.
Do you have a link, Lynn, to Biden speaking in California?
Why? We really want to hear Biden?
Well, I mean, it'd be interesting. See how he handles this.
Okay.
Oh, he's on CNN. No, we can't play CNN.
All right. Let's not do that. Nope. All right, everybody. So we're gonna run out of here with a video, and then we're gonna leave the stream running, and Pat, if you want to log out and do some other action, you can do that, tweets and stuff, and then join us back in after we see some California results. We'll be in touch with you in Twitter, and everybody out there, hang out in the chat, and yeah, thank you, and yeah, hopefully when we log back in, we'll have a little bit of that lag gone. Thank you for keeping in touch with MSM. I know it's painful to listen to, and everybody else.
Lynn just said that Biden introduced his wife, but it was actually his sister because they switched sides and they confused him.
Oh, poor guy.
Yeah.
They need to wear name tags for him. Yeah. All right, what are we gonna let's go out of here with a video. I got the Killer Mike one loaded up here, so let's go out of here with that.
Oh, Bernie's up by 13,000 votes in Utah. That's nice.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, so we're just going to run out with this, and then we're just going to leave a cover screen up and be gone for 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes, wait for some results to come in from California, and then we'll be back with some more. Stay in chat. Hang out, everybody. Tweet this out. Go donate to help us build Cork FM so that we can reach more rural areas and stop things like votes for Joe Biden and Donald Trump, because we kind of like to have a habitable planet with the rest of you.
Yeah.
That would be nice. Really appreciate you all being here. Right now it's like 66 in the concurrent views, and I really appreciate that, everybody being here. It's nice. It's nice to have a little group hanging out, like old times. So here we go. So let's cue this up. Make sure I can't have this here because it blocks my. Yeah, it's like having tchotchkes on a dashboard car as we're doing a road trip. I got stuff in my way here. So all right. We are almost out of here. Back in after this, via screen, enjoy chat. We'll be back in like 30, 40 minutes with some more results. Thank you all for being here.
I just want to say one of my favorite writers growing up was a man named James Baldwin. And I remember Baldwin saying, "You asked my father to wait, my brother to wait, my uncle to wait. How long must I wait on freedom? How long must I wait on rights and equality and liberty?" And as a black child, that resonated with me because I knew I'd been denied, and I personalized that. But as I grew, I started to understand poor white people have been denied. Women have been denied. Gays and lesbians have been denied. Immigrant children been denied. Everybody outside of that 1% has been denied. So I want you to take a few seconds to look to your left and look to your right. Look to your neighbor and say, "Neighbor, the time is now. There are more of us. We're stronger. We will wait no longer. The time is now." When you go to that booth next year, I need you to carry in that booth the memory of this room. Black, white, straight, gay, men, female. We are together. We are united. Our time is right now. We will not wait 4 more years. We will not wait 20 more years. We will not wait 2 more presidents. We will not wait 3 more presidents. The time is now. The time is not in the future. The time is not some abstract time. The time is not something that might be. The time ain't something that could be. The time ain't nothing that should be, that would be. It ain't tomorrow. It ain't the day after. It ain't coming next week. The time is. Senator Bernard Sanders will be the next president of the United States of America. Thank you all.
Hey, everybody's still in chat. Just looking like they closed the polls in California, and they've called it for Bernie Sanders immediately. I was listening to the Hill Rise, and they're saying that means it's a massive margin in California. It looks like we have Pat Cote back with us. Pat, are you back?
Can't hear you yet. Trying to figure out why.
I can hear you. We can hear you. So give us 1 second, everybody. But I just wanted to let everybody know they've called it for California, and they've called it for Bernie Sanders. All right, everybody, we're back with Pat Cote, who's been suffering through MSM. Laura and I had the benefit of watching Crystal Ball on Rise, and that was great. They just called it for California. Pat, you've been listening to the horrors of MSM. What are they saying about the Sanders win in California, if anything, right now?
Well, CNN said it was too early to call, but he was the early leader. And you've seen some of the other states, they'll usually list two people if they're sort of close to the top. So the fact that there's just Bernie being listed as the early leader is definitely good for California. So we're going to win California. And I've got some information from the exit polls from that. Let's see. Hispanic voters, which is what we're really banking on in California for Bernie, they make up 28% of the California vote, and Bernie won 55% of them.
Wow. That's great.
In comparison to Biden, who won 21% of them.
Okay.
And then two other key demographics, the young voters, which they classified as 18 to 29, which made up 14% of the vote. Bernie won 72% of them.
Right on.
Warren won 14% of them. Biden won 5% of them.
Young
Very
people,
nice.
at least knowing not to vote for the war criminal old man. Okay.
And these are your canvassers and people you need that work their butts off out on campaigns. And Biden has a 5% support with them in the biggest state in the nation. So not good. I mean, not that California is really at risk to losing to Trump, but still. And then the other big demo that's obviously a Biden demographic, older voters, 65 plus, make up 25% of the vote in California. And Biden won 37% of them. But Bernie won 18%, which may not sound like a great number. But if you look at the gap between that and the gap in the young voters, it's clear that California is going to be good for us.
Nice.
And they also called the Utah for Bernie while we were on break, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, the delegate totals, whether they've added, they obviously haven't added California in here, but we're definitely closing the gap. We're down to 41 delegates short between Bernie and Biden, and
Oh yeah, they won't add Bernie's in.
No.
Right. MSNBC has Biden up like 86 delegates, I believe.
Yeah.
So you can just see it's all sort of selective.
Yeah, absolutely. So whatever we can do to make Biden look good until the very last minute.
Right.
Where is Warren coming in California?
They didn't have numbers, but they did show that among young voters, the only number I saw was that she had 14% of the vote with the young voters.
Interesting.
But she was coming in today in fourth place, polling in fourth.
Wow. So what's going on with Texas then?
Texas currently, Bernie has a 5.6% lead.
Okay.
With 44% of the vote in.
Okay. I'm feeling better. And then what was the last? Maine. Have they called that yet? That was too close to call.
I think that's still up for grabs.
Okay.
Yeah, Maine, Biden 33.8, Sanders 33% with 61% of the vote in.
Okay, so just decimal points apart.
Right.
Yeah. But so but on those, if you look at the numbers here in terms of delegates, what somebody was saying earlier in Twitter or maybe in chat is accurate. really these were, Biden won, but in truth, he split the delegates in Maine with Bernie, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in all these other smaller ones, it's more like splitting delegates.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really not like Biden is running out. He's running out in the lead, but only in smaller delegate states, it seems.
Right. Well, what Crystal Ball was saying in the show you're just listening to is she's like, okay, yeah, he's winning these states, but look, the establishment this was the Hail Mary. This was pull in the troops, rearrange everything. I mean, the machinations that went on this weekend, I can only imagine. And they were only able, and they weren't able to beat Bernie outright. She was saying at this point, looks like they may come in about even, depending. And this is before they called it for California.
Right.
And so everything they had, and they still couldn't squash him.
Right.
So,
and I don't know if you watched the Biden speech he gave in LA, acceptance or winning speech, whatever.
I heard a lot about it.
But I mean, that guy look, I don't want to make fun of his speech impediment or whatever's going on, but he's not sharp. He's not there. No. He stopped mid speech at one point and said, well, never mind that part. And then,
Yeah.
So I want to talk about that and something you said earlier. I mean, it looks, we talked about that older folks seem to be voting for Biden, and it seems to have a little bit to do with the coronavirus.
Well, they're saying why
people freaking out a little bit.
It was the exit polling that's saying the coronavirus was one of the top reasons one of the biggest issues, and they went with Biden. And I said, well, because it's older voters who are most concerned about an epidemic, virus, especially if they're vulnerable. So it fits with his demographic. Was my point.
Right. And you said, Pat, you mentioned that in the California demographic, Biden has zero support amongst the youth.
Yeah.
The youth are the ones that are canvassing. And when it comes to being against Trump, and this is where I'm really going at, I don't know, obviously California voters, or I'm sorry, the older voters are going to think Biden's going to do great against Trump because they're going to vote for Biden over Trump. But the younger voter, maybe not so much. And the younger voter is going to be the ones that we can put in buses and send to other states to canvass, like Bernie's already done in other states, right? So I don't see the Democratic. I guess where I'm going with this is, I think the Democratic Party is knowingly setting itself up for loss against Donald Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Well, absolutely, because there's no voter enthusiasm. That when Biden benefited tonight from a consolidation of all the other options. Mm-hmm. So these were, half of his votes tonight were people that didn't really pick him first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's almost
that's not enthusiasm.
He called in every chip.
Right.
So, okay, great. Now what's he got left?
What he has left now is having to stand toe to toe with Bernie on a debate stage where there's actually time given to discuss his Iraq war vote. The crime bill, the Patriot Act, his terrible Medicare for All program.
Yeah. Right.
He's going to have to go he's going to have to campaign.
Yeah, all the things that have been hidden by a big field are now going to be exposed, and you're going to have more time to see Biden's mental decline or whatever you want to call it. But he clearly doesn't look very presidential when he's given time to speak.
No.
Anything besides a scripted speech, which he's not even very good at that. So, the whole, I don't know what you call it, the polished, most presidential thing is going to fall apart really quickly when it's him next to Bernie on the stage.
I don't know. They've managed somehow to flow with Trump's inabilities and just go with it. They'll just say, well, look at how much better Joe is so much more presidential than Trump. And they'll just, doesn't matter that he's spewing nonsense. It's much more presidential nonsense than what comes out of Donald Trump.
Right. But if you saw Bernie's speech tonight, Bernie sharpened the knives on Biden himself. So he's ready to take this fight on, and Biden is ignoring it and pivoting to Trump already. But he won't be able to do that on the debate stage. At least he won't be able to.
He'll be able to ask Biden really good questions that Biden won't necessarily be prepared for or able to answer.
Right.
And that will be delicious.
Yeah, Bernie's got much more sharper mind when it comes to that. So, and what are we? I was looking at this. In Massachusetts, Bernie gets second, Biden takes Mass, and Warren in her home state gets third.
But gets 20%, which had she dropped out. So that's why she didn't drop out. She was there to take a bite out of every cookie.
She showed. Yay. Yay for you, Liz.
Right.
Planet's still going to be fucked. But you got your delegates. Yay. I just think about the people, and no offense to anybody who is really worried about the coronavirus. I understand you're worried about the coronavirus, and it's a virus, and people can die from it, right? But we have an existential crisis for our species and the entire planet. There's only one candidate that's actually addressing that for real, and that's really sad. It's just really sad. Does anybody really have any faith that Joe Biden, if he were to take office, would do something about the climate crisis? No.
He wouldn't do anything. He would just be the puppet in place, and whoever is running things now would continue to run things.
They'd bring back Cheney?
Oh, yeah.
He did.
Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, he's got one of the worst climate plans of all the plans.
Right.
I mean,
he won't remember it.
The Democrats suddenly don't really care about that. Nobody discusses that fact anymore.
No, it's just it's a whatever. It's not. It's another issue like all the other issues, which is unfortunate.
Yeah,
it's really unfortunate. I'm just waiting for somebody to spew some numbers on California delegate totals, and I have a feeling they're not, because it's overwhelmingly for Bernie Sanders, and
right.
So. Pat, you want to hang on, or you want to get the hell out of here and just wait till we see the wonderful news tomorrow?
I don't know what we're going to get tonight, honestly. I think they're going to drag it out a long time.
All right.
So I'll just wake up to find out if Texas won, if he won Texas.
Let's do that.
I'm going to put his name on it anyway, just for good juju.
All right.
Yeah, but I would say, I don't want people, we took a few shots we didn't expect tonight, but at the end of the day, this race narrowed down to Bernie and Biden, and we need to keep the focus on the fact that Bernie wins that argument hands down.
Yeah.
So we're really in a good place there.
Yeah. Like they said, like Crystal Ball said, she said, well, really, the one thing we have mentioned is that Biden is, of course, Biden. So how much can he really make his own case? So.
I don't know. He's got a lot.
Right.
I know there was a message sent out by the Bernie camp to supporters, and it was just, and you read it, but it was basically a note saying, don't get sad, don't freak out. The mainstream
you have to have your vegetables early in the evening.
Yes.
But it'll work out toward the end. So yeah, especially if he wins Texas, there you go.
Yeah. So so we're gonna get out of here, and we'll report with we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. I'm flying off to do some Civics TV in Salem. Hang out with Larry and Ashley and everybody.
We'll make a pitch. Parliamentary talk.
Yeah.
Say its name.
Yeah, I'll do it. So we're doing a show called Parliamentary Talk, and it's in the beautiful CCTV Salem facility, and it's good civics, teaching parliamentary procedure, which is something we're actually going to need when we get to the convention, if the DNC even chooses to follow the bylaws at all. So that's like the last hope, everybody, is the bylaws of the DNC, and if they choose to follow the bylaws, then we can make things happen if we know the rules, and that's what the show is about. So Parliamentary Talk will air live at CCTV Salem on Thursday, the 5th at noon Pacific. If you live in Salem, you'll get to see it. If you watch our channel, you get to see it live there too, and it'll be Larry and Carrie on a really cool looking green screen that's just awesome.
And the topic is interesting.
The topic is actually it's called When Elections Go South, and they're not naming any names really, but it is going to be talking about the Democratic Party of Oregon, and it will be pissing off some people within the party because it's going to expose some bullshit. So join us for that. Thanks. Because the big national battles like these, we're going to lose national battles. The power is in your house. It's in your city. It's in your state. It's in your county. It's not. We can't. That DC power is a different power. You want that power, you got to start at the bottom level. And so I encourage everybody to get out and affect change in their own community, run for office at a local level, or get involved with politics at a local level. And it doesn't have to be with the Democratic Party. Get involved with the DSA, right?
School board,
right? That's a non-party role, right? Anyway, Pat, thank you so much for being with us tonight. I really appreciate your insight.
Always great to be here. Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody.
Are we gonna do a song?
Yeah, we're just gonna let Pat get out of here because I know
Okay.
let Pat go. And then we're gonna get out of here with something that I don't have. What was I trying to pull up? I don't have the end of the corporate agent. I really don't feel like it's appropriate right now with the way things have gone tonight. So I want to go out with Gil Scott-Heron, our 2020 version of the Revolution Will Not Be Televised, because I want to remind everybody that what you are seeing or what our parents are seeing, what's being broadcast across corporate media right now is a spun narrative. It is not being fair to Bernie Sanders. It's not being fair to the revolution. It's not being fair to the progressive movement. It's not being fair to young people. It is focused on capitalism. It is focused on greed. It is being run by corporate entities, and it is wrong. And it's fucked up my parents. It's fucked up her parents. It's fucked up all sorts of generations of folks who watch that shit and have no idea that it is not the truth. And the only way we stop that is by investing in independent media. And whether you like us or TYT or Ben Dixon, or it doesn't matter who you like, it's got to be somebody that's not controlled by corporate interests. It's got to be somebody who at the end of the day doesn't say, what exactly do you want me to say about Exxon, Mr. Exxon? Because we don't want that anymore. We need the truth to come out. And, fighting indoctrination is just one of the hardest things to do, and it takes lots of cash. You can buy a radio station for around 10 grand. You can buy a television studio for around $3 million. So help us start with a radio station, Cork FM. Go to GoFundMe, look for Cork FM. It's a fundraiser we've got going for a low-power FM station in Corvallis, Oregon. The rest
I think there's a link.
here.
I think there's a link in the description.
There's a link in the description. Go take a look at it. Listen to the video. It's an amazing opportunity for the progressive movement, and it would not take much for us to get it off the ground. So appreciate everybody being here. Gil Scott-Heron, Revolution Will Not Be Televised. Thank you to Marcus, all the Germans, everybody in chat, everybody that's still in Slack, the lovely Laura Livengood, who's right here with me, and everybody else who's helped to share and participate and be involved in this channel in our efforts to change the narrative around
This is rare. What we have here, what you've been doing for 5 years now. You've been doing that, just
5 years.
Just coming out here and talking with whoever wants to come and talk with us. And it's a thing of beauty, and please support it because we enjoy doing it. And we'll be back next Tuesday night for the next Super Tuesday primary return.
Yes, we will. Do we have any idea what states? No. A bunch of states.
We do.
A bunch of other states.
We
so
do.
That'll be different. Oh, wait, we got some notes. 1% reporting Bloomberg in second place in California. Bloomberg in second place in California.
Oh, yeah. Well, he probably spent a lot of money. Okay, I can tell you states. Hold on. I've got my calendar right here.
All right.
So it's Idaho, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, and Ohio, and the Hawaiian Republican Caucus.
Interesting.
And the Democrats abroad, Global Party. That's when they count their ballots.
I thought they overwhelmingly went for Bernie Sanders last time.
I think
the Democrats abroad. So I would be expected that to be the same again. I don't know how many delegates that's worth, but I think they were for Bernie last time. So fun times. We'll see you next Tuesday. Tuesday
the 10th.
For that. And thank you all for being here. We got 39 people still left in the chat. $55 raised today in the super chat. And if you donated to either of our other places, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Gil Scott-Heron, Revolution Will Not Be Televised, 2020 edition, done by Uphill Media with some inclusions of some friends of ours. Thank you all for being here.
And I repeat again, what's wrong with this nation, and what's at issue at this particular point in our history is not the fact that the American people have lost faith and trust in its leaders, but the very simple fact that over the last 20 years, up to today, the American leadership has not demonstrated, has not had the faith and trust in the American people. And had that faith and trust and straightforwardness been present, this nation would not be in the mess it's in today.
You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by John Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spyro Agnew to eat hog maws confiscated from a Harlem sanctuary. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theater and will not star Natalie Woods and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that color TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at 8:32 on report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no slow motion or still life of Roy Wilkins strolling through Watts in a red, black, and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of Harry R. Women liberationists and Jackie Onassis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Webb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or The Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning.
We can return this system of government to the town meeting, the process where everybody gets involved, where the people who make policy are the people who suffer policy. That's a very important facet.
The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
The idea that resistance would be reduced to a hashtag is very offensive to me.